In a 6-3 ruling this week, the Supreme Court overturning a California state law which prohibited teachers from notifying parents if their child changed their pronouns or their gender expression while at school. But that law was challenged by a conservative legal group, and the high court siding with their argument. So the ruling now compels California schools to inform parents if their children identify as transgender, even without the student's approval.
A major victory for parents. The court's majority order issuing this statement on the ruling, quote, "We conclude that the parents who seek religious exemptions are likely to succeed on the merits of their Free Exercise Clause claim. The parents who assert a free exercise claim have sincere religious beliefs about sex and gender, and they feel a religious obligation to raise their children in accordance with those beliefs. California's policies violate those beliefs."
It is our pleasure to welcome in Linda McMahon. She is the Secretary of Education. Great to see you, Madam Secretary. We do appreciate the time. What is your message to the parents in California after that ruling?
Congratulations, parents. It's the affirmation, I think, of parental rights, that they are the ones who are in charge of their children. These children are not wards of the state. The governor of California does not have the ability to, I think, overrule what parents would like to have for their children, and parents should have the rights to their children's records and what's going on with them. I think it's a slam dunk ruling. I'm surprised it wasn't 9-0 from the Supreme Court.
Well, one person who is against this is Governor Gavin Newsom. He lashed out after this Supreme Court ruling. Here's what he told the New York Post, Secretary. He said, "Teachers should be focused on teaching, not forced to be gender cops. The shadow docket ruling by the Supreme Court undermines student privacy and the ability to learn in a safe and supportive classroom, free from discrimination based on gender identity." Secretary, as we know, God does not make mistakes. Parents should be in charge of their children. Teachers should not be hiding the fact that, their child is socially transitioning behind the parents' backs. What do you make of the governor's remarks? Because in the past, he has said differently. Is this kind of just, at the end of the day, Democrat political theater to actually reinforce this false ideology that a person can change their gender?
It's so interesting. Governor Newsom is a parent. And I wonder how he would feel if he were trying to find out what was going on with his children and that information was being withheld from him. It just defies common sense and logic that parents are not in charge of their children, and that these children, I don't believe, are the age or of the mind to properly make a lot of these decisions on their own. So, and I agree with him, however, that teachers should be teaching. I think that we should have higher than 30% proficiency in our high schools and our middle schools, for our students. And California should be focusing on teaching and not focusing on these other things. I absolutely agree with him on that point.
Yeah, it is interesting that he calls them, teachers should not be gender cops. I remember when I was a kid, I was sent home if I talked too much. So if you can monitor how much I talked, maybe that is something that the parents would want to know. And yeah, I did get written up a lot for that, Madam Secretary, happy to admit. I'm Sean Kreisman. For stories and content just like this, check out National Report weekdays 9 to noon, only on Newsmax.